You're walking alone through the dark alleyways of British India on a rainy night when, without any warning, you're surrounded by thieves. You scream for help, but no one hears you. The rain drowns your voice and hope fades. Then suddenly, lightning strikes. In the blink of an eye, the attackers lie dead, slaughtered with sheer brutality, yet without a single trace of who did it. You turn around. For just a moment, a mysterious hooded figure stands there, and then vanishes. Shaken, you convince yourself it was a demon. By morning, you spread the story, and this is how the legend was born. The legend of the Indian Assassins, a brotherhood so feared that the Templars refer to them as ghosts. And in today's video, we're diving deep into the Indian Brotherhood while also answering questions as to why they were so feared. Think of this as a full lore deep dive. So, let's begin. After the official establishment of the Hidden Ones in 49 BCE, their creed spread across the world, reaching distant lands and cultures. By the 1st century CE, whispers of their presence had reached India. These early Hidden Ones weren't officially organized, but they operated in secret, shaping events from the shadows. Their influence was subtle, present only in scattered regions, yet powerful enough to lay the foundation for a future brotherhood. Much like the Hidden Ones created by Bayek, they were born out of necessity, rising in response to injustice, oppression, and the chaos around them, silently planting the seeds of a legend that would endure for centuries. Over time, the Indian Brotherhood grew, recruiting more members and shaping themselves into a true organization. By the 16th century, they established their hidden headquarters in Calicut, a bustling hub of trade and corruption. But their greatest test was yet to come. A fleet of Portuguese Templars sent by King Manuel I arrived on Indian shores. They set warehouses ablaze and captured key commanders, testing the Brotherhood's resolve. When a Templar named Vasco da Gama came to enforce Portuguese rule, the assassins were ready. Under the cover of night, they evacuated the city, hid their families, and then struck disguised as the very enemy they hunted. One by one, the invaders fell, sending a clear warning: the Indian Brotherhood was not to be trifled with. After this legendary confrontation, their influence spread further, reaching Kashmir and parts of Punjab, laying the foundations for centuries of secret operations across the subcontinent. The Indian Brotherhood's success wasn't just about skill or numbers. It came from discipline and strict adherence to their rules. Unlike the assassins of the Levant or Italy who focused on high-profile kills to send a message, the Indian Brotherhood mastered the art of psychological warfare. Their goal wasn't just to eliminate an enemy, it was to strike fear into their hearts, making their presence felt long before a blade ever touched flesh. To achieve this, they wielded a deadly arsenal beyond the usual assassin tools. They carried fear bombs, hallucinogenic powders woven into their clothing, and spikes that could be deployed in the heat of combat, all designed to terrify and disorient. Some assassins wielded a unique version of the hidden blade called the Trident Blade with 3 razor-sharp prongs. Others favored melee weapons like kukris, modified knives, and crescent-shaped throwing discs known as karas, and traditional swords. This diverse arsenal allowed the Brotherhood to conduct their operations with precision and minimal casualties, often leaving enemies shattered without striking a single fatal blow. One legendary example came during the time of Assassin's Creed Rogue, when Templars tried to infiltrate the kingdom of Mysore. The Indian Brotherhood's interference was so effective that even John Harrison, a notable British Templar, wrote in a letter that the Indian assassins operate like ghosts. Through fear, deception, and discipline, the Brotherhood gained a psychological edge, allowing them to maintain their dominance across India for generations. By the time the British invaded India, the Templars had grown ruthless, burning villages and spreading fear. One of their attacks destroyed the home of a young boy named Arbaz Mir. Miraculously, he survived and grew up as a street thief, until he was recruited by the Indian Brotherhood and trained to become one of their finest assassins. In the mid-1800s, Arbaz was tasked with recovering the Kohinoor, a powerful piece of Eden. His mission took him across India and into Afghanistan, facing countless challenges, but he ultimately succeeded, and handed over the artifact to Ethan Fry for safekeeping in England. Later, Arbaz trained his son Jayadeep Mir, whose gentle, non-violent nature made him ill-suited for the creed. During his first field mission, Jayadip failed to eliminate his target, violating one of the Brotherhood's strict tenets. Traditionally, this would have meant death. However, Ethan Fry intervened, convincing the mentor Hamid to banish Jayadip to England instead. This act marked a turning point. The Indian Brotherhood began relaxing their harsh execution policies, showing that even the most disciplined of assassins could evolve. After being exiled to London, Jayadip Mir adopted his alias Bharat Singh, keeping a close eye on the Templars. But you might be thinking, how is this relevant? By the late 1800s, the British assassins were nearly extinct, and only a few of them remained. In many ways, the Indian assassins had to step in to fill that void. While undercover, Jayadip's identity was almost exposed by a Templar named Kavanagh. One of the Indian assassins, Ajay, was captured and revealed Jayadip's true identity under pressure. Wrecked with guilt, Ajay later took his own life. Fortunately for Jayadip, he survived as Kavanagh was killed by another Templar before he could act. Shaken by this betrayal and the loss of his fellow assassins, Jayadip left the Brotherhood temporarily. It wasn't until that Arbaz himself visited him that he returned to the fight and took charge of the British assassins in the late 1860s. Jayadip now took on the alias of Henry Green, enlisted the help of the Fry twins to battle Crawford Steric, hence starting the events of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. After the liberation of London, Evie Fry traveled to India, learning the Brotherhood's unique techniques. She passed these skills to the British assassins, improving the efficiency of recruits, including notorious figures like Jack the Ripper. But for the Indian Brotherhood, this was the beginning of decline. Their traditional methods shifted, their dominance weakened, and modernization cost them dearly. In December 2000, the Templars launched one of the largest assassin purges in history. Most of the Indian Brotherhood's bases were destroyed and countless assassins were killed. For a time, the Templars gained near total control over India. A few survivors went into hiding, searching for the Kohinoor, the diamond entrusted to Ethan Fry. Using advanced tools like the Brahman VR to access their genetic memories, they tried to stay one step ahead. But attacks continued and many were lost. Those who survived eventually joined a secretive cult known as the Instruments of the First Will, devoted to worshipping the Ezio. Today, the Indian Brotherhood exists, but far more hidden and secretive. Their survival is no longer about tactics or fear, but sheer resilience. And that's how the once feared Indian Brotherhood rose to prominence, evolved over centuries, and ultimately faced near destruction in modern times. Despite their pivotal role in Assassin's Creed lore, their story has often remained in the shadows, with little screen time or focus from Ubisoft. But recent rumors suggest that a full-fledged Assassin's Creed game set in India might be in the works, possibly following Hexi. If we look at the recent leaks, they hint that Hexi has been in development for over 5 years. And looking at the time frame, the potential for an authentic, lore-rich Indian Assassin's Creed game is truly exciting. If Ubisoft does it right, it could finally give this legendary brotherhood the spotlight it deserves. And with that, our video comes to an end. If you enjoyed this journey through the shadows of India's most feared assassins, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care and goodbye.